They belong to different tribes.
Okay. Do you know what it takes to become like part of a tribe, or you're born in it? Do you know anything about that?
Be born in it.
Okay.
I don't like this menu.
It's okay. Anything else?
Okay. So I know that there was the Trail of Tears.
The Trail of Tears.
Where they were relocated from their land to parts of Oklahoma, I believe.
Yeah.
And that thousands of them died.
Yeah. Do you know... So they got moved to reservations, right? So do you know anything about life on the reservation or anything like that? Any insight to that?
No.
No?
I can't be good, but no.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I hate you.
I love Native American people.
Well, I know that they got kicked out from where they were, and they got sent to like I believe it was Oklahoma, like for the Trail of Tears. That's what they call it.
Do you know anything about their culture, their traditions, anything like that?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know very much about them.
Do you know any local tribes?
No, not really.
Do you ever see them on TV?
Yeah, I mean on TV. I mean,
Like what?
Well, just in movies, but that's it. Like they're not that big in the movies.
So, last question. What do you know about Native Americans that you've learned from TV or school?
Well, I know that they were with their dark skin.
Yeah?
And well, they weren't like as they obviously didn't have like the same clothing like that we have now. They, and
What did they wear?
They would hunt instead of we have.
What do you know about Indian people?
I know that they live in teepees and they sit in Indian style, and some have food and some don't have food.
And where'd you learn this at?
School.
The minds of children are easily impressionable, and cartoons are an underhanded way of reinforcing their minds with negative thoughts and false ideology of Native American people. Although all children are susceptible to the information embedded within the cartoons they observe, specifically Native American children are affected by the misrepresentation of their people in cartoons. Native Americans are either falsely depicted in animation, or worse, not represented at all. Negative depiction through animation not only dehumanizes a group of people, but also desensitizes those viewing with the information that provides false ideology. Cartoons are something that many, if not all children, watch as a form of entertainment. Children's judgments and views are effortlessly shaped by the information they hear and observe. Many parents allow their children to view cartoons as a pastime without cautiously evaluating the information their children are receiving. Native Americans are often erroneously depicted in cartoons as savage, unintelligent, sexualized, animalistic, romanticized, lazy, and often have exaggerated features, just to name a few of the stereotypes. Cartoons reinforce and perpetuate these stereotypes of Native American people in the minds of children who view them. Though these animations negatively shape the ideals of Native American people for non-Native children, they have a much greater effect on the Native American children who view them. Native American children already experience marginalization and racism through peers and institutions, but to also view their people being objectified and devalued through the media can further affect their self-esteem. The fact that the dehumanization of Native Americans is being embedded into cartoons for the viewing of young children is cruelly strategic. The symbolic annihilation of Native Americans in animation deleteriously affects all children. The demeaning typecasts of this country's indigenous people are not only detrimental to the positive self-worth of Native children, but also to their cultural pride. Exposure to stereotypical images of Native Americans begin at a young age. However, as one develops and grows, these images continue to reinstate these false ideals. In Hollywood films meant for teens and adults, we continue to see these negative portrayals of Native Americans. The characters of natives are one-sided and depicted in the Western image of how they think natives dress and act. The attire of natives in films are false, often showing them with feathers in their hair and clothing that is not traditional to the culture. Besides film, we can see how Hollywood also uses Native American culture as a fashion trend. Models, singers, and actresses are often dressed in stereotypical attire of natives. This is highly offensive. On the runway, we see models dressed provocative using pieces of native culture such as headdresses. In music videos, we can see singers using similar attire in a disrespectful manner. Also, we see fashion magazine editorials that are based on Native American dress. These images are detrimental to the true traditions of the people. Not only is the abuse of Native culture offensive, but it also continues the sexualization of Native women. This image of women also continues in video games. We must make efforts to change the way Hollywood functions and create a new way to represent art, such as film, that is not racist or discriminatory to a particular group of people. If not, these false images will continue to be created and take a toll in Native American identity. In this passage, we see the evolution of media and the power relation between those watching the media and those being portrayed. Bird explicitly states that these constructions were for white audiences' pleasure, therefore showing that these constructions, especially the primitive other, are Western Orientalist views imposed on Native people. Perhaps Western popular media is just another institution and tool for colonization. A parallel to this can be drawn to Orientalism, a concept by literary theorist Edward Said. While Said was studying the European and American constructions of Asian identity and Far East otherness, I extend this to Native American constructions as well. Orientalism is essentially the exotification and construction of other identities from the viewpoints of whiteness. There is a power relation here. The producers of media are in power, and Native Americans are its subjects, and in return are blatantly marginalized. Further reinforcing Native American Orientalism, Native Americans are portrayed throughout print media. However, oftentimes the media reaffirms stereotypes which are harmful to the Native American identities. In literature, from scholarly works to romance novels and children's books, misinformation and stereotypes are commonplace. Scholarly works are often produced by outsiders, and the imagery often shows Native men being stoic. The depictions give the viewer the feeling that this is how Native Americans look all the time, even though in reality, they do not wear regalia and traditional clothing constantly. Mainstream society then fails to recognize Native Americans in society because they do not fit the media stereotype. Romance novels also perpetuate stereotypes. Even those of us who do not read them can call up an image from a cover of a novel of a seductive white woman and a noble savage who will ravish her. In reality, it just sets up another misconception surrounding Native people, which further clouds Native American identities. Children's books are also problematic. They tend to consist of cartoony versions of Native Americans, which establish a misrepresentation at early ages. These impressions are set up in the minds of children, and, even after seeing other, more accurate versions, the cartoony versions persist. As this generation grows, unless nothing is done, stereotypes shall continue to repeat themselves. In print media, resistance does occur. Native Americans do have books published which can start to change mainstream views. By providing other viewpoints, discussion can be created and stereotypes can be confronted. Authors like Sherman Alexie, Michael A. Shayash, among others, can provide discussion which can help open the eyes of mainstream audiences and bring awareness.
Thanks for watching.